Hello YouTube, Intuitive Edge here. Today I would like to tackle a difficult topic, and that is the recent shooting down in Florida. What I'd like to do is the new spread that I developed a couple weeks ago called The Eye. And what that spread is designed to do is to give us a broader view. If you think about the concept of the eye when we're looking at something. We're going to look at the issue, like what's going on, how to deal with it, what's coming into our view, what's fading from view. Understanding is how to apply what should be done. So we're looking for wisdom and understanding, and then a culmination of what we see, like the outcome of how we, and I guess we as a collective. So let me move the candle out of the way here. I'm going to shuffle up the cards. Give me a moment while I shuffle, and we'll get into this reading. Okay, all right. We're going to cut the deck. So this is the broader view spread. We're going to look at the issue. And wisdom, how to deal with the issue. Okay, we'll start here. So the first card is the issue, and this is the World card. Generally, the World card is success, fullness, on top of the world, so to speak. With this card being reversed, it's like success has not been achieved. It's a little bit stagnant, a refusal to learn a life's lesson. Something is left on the table that's incomplete. As I'm looking at this picture, I'm drawn to, there's a face in the cloud, and it's blowing like a storm, and it's blowing something out of its mouth, like a storm blowing, but I'm drawn to that face for some reason. It's like there's a message. It's trying to tell us something. This could also have something to do with the world, our world view, because this is all about the view. It's called the eye. So it's all about how we view what we see. And if our world view is tainted, or that we're not seeing things clearly, we don't understand what's really happening, or what's really, you could look at this from several different angles, that we don't really see or have a good view as to what is perpetrating or causing these types of shooting issues, these types of events. There's a message. I feel like there's some message that's wanting to get through, that is telling us that our worldview is not lining up with the truth. And maybe what we see is a small focus and not the bigger picture. Okay, so there's an element of a bigger picture that we're not seeing with relation to this shooting, and possibly shootings in general. why they happen and what's going on with them. I'm hearing the words look deeper. And I feel like this storm little picture here, this little face in there is calling us. It's saying something like, look deeper. Look deeper. Okay. All right. Next card. This is in the position of wisdom. Wisdom helps us deal with the issue. How do we deal? What does wisdom tell us how to deal with this issue? And we have the Seven of Swords. This is a card of things being tricky, having to be diplomatic, careful, tactful in your approach, not laying everything out, but being selective and careful with how you approach things. And with it being reversed, that's interesting. There's different ways you can look at that. So what does wisdom tell us on how we deal with this, with these issues, with this issue? The image that I get is being grounded in the truth, being grounded, taking, I don't know if refuge is the right word, but being very solid and anchored in the truth and not being swayed emotionally, being very solid. I feel there's a similarity with these cards in terms of with this world, with the roots going into this earth here. This is also like branching out, being grounded, rooting itself in the earth. And I'm getting that with this too, like from this groundedness springs forth it's like digging deeper. And again, I heard that with this card. Dig deeper, look deeper, and root yourself in the truth. Now, again, I'm saying yourself. This is like just a broad general reading. Let's look at the next card. What's coming into view? What's coming into view? We have the Two of Cups. Now, this is a card of relationships. Like the picture is two lovers. They're connected. They're sharing cups with each other. It's a nice card of relationship. When it's reversed, it can mean discord, disharmony, could mean a breakup or some sort of relationship problems. And with that coming into view, there's something about, oh, this is interesting. It's got the little medical symbol. You know that, look at, I don't know if you can see this. It's got that little symbol right there of the medical symbol with the intertwining snakes. And it's in the position of what's coming into view, and the card is a card of discord with it being reversed. Now, I'm gonna take a stab at this. This is gonna sound out there maybe for some people. But what if this is talking about what's coming into view is that we're going to start to understand and see the role of the medical community, the role that they have played in these shootings. We know that many of these shootings, I think of James Holmes with the Aurora shooting in Colorado. many of these other shootings, these kids and these people have been on psychotropic drugs. They've been drugged. And, you know, I'm not saying that those drugs don't work for some people, but perhaps a few too many get pushed over the edge. You know, when you look at the mug shots after these shootings of these people, if they happen to live through it and they get taken into custody, they look like they're blank. I mean, they look like they're not there, not themselves. They don't look right. I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It seems I've seen it when I've looked at their pictures. It's like they don't look right. And I'm wondering if this is just saying there's maybe a connection that we need to look at, and maybe the medical community needs to take a hard look at their possible role in these types of shooting scenarios. You know, it's not normal, and we should never accept it as normal for a person to go in and start shooting up a school or a church or any type of other venue. That's not normal, okay? And that's not normal human behavior. Humans generally don't do that. I mean, even if they, not everybody has good coping skills with life. Not everybody knows how to deal with their problems. But most people don't go to that extreme, okay? Most people, even if they've got problems, they don't resort to going into a public place and just wantonly shooting the place up, okay? And I hope we never as a society come to think of that as something that some people just do, because that's not the truth. That's not how humans operate, okay? But if you introduce something like a psychotropic drug into the mix that could cause somebody to have those aberrations, and with this coming into view, I'm glad. I hope this gets some light shed on it. I hope that comes into view. And I just have to say, for anybody who's on the bandwagon of blaming the guns, look deeper. That's really surface, okay? That's very surface. Look deeper. There are lots of people out there with guns that would never do something like that. Okay? I think this is saying there's a possible medical connection. And that will be coming, if that's coming into view, then we'll start to see more of that in the news. That will be highlighted, spotlighted. That's maybe what the tarot is saying. This is where we need to look, okay? This is what we need to look at. What's fading from view? Well, that's an interesting card in that position. The Ten of Pentacles is a positive card of family, of connectedness, groundedness. With that fading from view, I'm going to sit with that for a second. I'm going to pause this and sit with it for a moment. So I'm struggling a little bit with this one in what this is trying to say. We have the Ten of Pentacles, a card of fullness, of family, of connection with the family unit. And what I'm struggling with is it being in the position of what's fading from view. I don't know if this is saying that we're losing sight of how families and family dynamics and the role that strong families play with respect to these shootings. Maybe the role that the family dynamic plays. I've often thought that for years that the family has been under assault, basically. We're just bombarded in our culture and in the news that strong families are just under attack. They don't take into account how the importance of a strong family unit and family dynamic. And I hope that we don't lose sight of that. That's what I'm struggling with this in the position of what's fading from view. I hope that we're not losing sight of the strong family dynamic and how that can play a role in possibly helping prevent these types of things. Let's keep going. Understanding. This will be how to apply understanding. So we had wisdom and we had understanding. Got some heavy cards here. This one is no exception. The Nine of Swords is a card of stress, being full of anxiety and frustration, losing sleep over something, needing to calm down, needing something to help calm the nerves and calm down. And this is in the position of understanding, gaining understanding, how to apply what should be done. So, in the position of understanding, how to apply what should be done. And we've got this card, the Nine of Swords, which is everything I just said, like that stress and anxiety, but it's reversed. And that's telling us not to worry, that to have faith that things will get better, that there's relief coming, and to have faith that things will change for the better. And this just feels like a lot of misery, obviously. And yet to know that things will get better. And that's how to apply, how to deal with the issue. Going back to this card, this was staying grounded and digging for the truth and not letting yourself be caught up in the chatter and the fray of everything else going on, but to get grounded, look for the truth, which the truth coming into view could be this connection with mind-altering drugs. And when we get to the truth of something, then we have something to work with, right? Things can get better once we know what we're dealing with. But when our worldview gets skewed and our world turns upside down, and we're skewed with all the chatter and the emotions of the moment, and we skip over looking deeper into what's really going on, then we're going to be caught in this cycle of fear and anxiety and frustration and sadness, and it's like that's the whole destabilization picture. If you think about it, if somebody's just completely emotionally wrecked and they're not grounded in, okay, looking at the truth and what's going on and how do we fix this, how do we heal, they're just caught up in the moment of this emotional roller coaster. Don't these things tend to do that? They destabilize a person, get them all emotionally charged and upset, and then all they do is react to the moment and the situation. Whereas what really will help is to anchor in. I just saw these two swords like anchored into the ground, anchored in to the truth. Hold on to that no matter what's going on around you. Look at the truth of how we need to see what's unfolding before us. How do we look at this in a way that keeps us grounded so that we're not just caught up in an emotional nightmare where we're not able to think clearly because of the emotional impact of it. Last card. Number 6 card, culmination, outcome. We have the Page of Cups. This is a tricky, fishy. Things are tricky. There might be something a little fishy going on. A little, again, stay grounded. There's so much, and again, with the water symbolizing emotions, there's a lot of that going on. How do we stay grounded? How do we stay seated on land? This person is seated on the land and their feet are in the water. How do we bridge both worlds? Being grounded and rooted and seeking truth while the chaos of the moment is all around. This is a card of beginning to see clearly, knowing that there's, again, the picture of the fish. It's like something that's a little funky in all this emotional stuff. The fish being out here in the water in the emotional aspect, with the water representing emotions. And this person is sitting on the bank, being grounded, being rooted, and looking over here, facing this, knowing that by staying rooted and grounded, things will improve. Okay. All right. Underneath, I always like to look at the bottom. 9 of Cups. That's the wish card, knowing that wishes can be granted. Wishes are good things. However, with it reversed, it could be an unfulfilled wish, or just telling us that we might be blocking our own happiness or blocking our own way. So stay grounded, stay rooted in the truth, look for the truth of what's really going on, and try to, just some advice, I guess, from this, is try to stay out of the emotional chaos of the moment that people tend to gravitate toward in these types of situations. Stay strong, stay true, and look for the truth in all things. Okay, that's it for this reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back doing more readings. I appreciate all of you who like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.